Time for the thrilling conclusion of this best of 3 series, the Warhammer World Championship Round 1. We've got Captain Telis against Tsar here. Tsar, of course, on the blue team. Captain Telis on the red team. Includes their banners this time, which is very convenient. But we've got Warriors of Chaos versus Tomb Kings. And right out the gate, absolutely wild build here from Tsar. We've got double Chaos Giant with some Forsaken up front. He's got some Marauder Horsemen of Tzeentch and regular Horse Masters as well. Chimera up in the sky. Chaos Sorcerer Lord of Nurgle. Some Pleasure Guard, the Champions of Slaanesh Regiment of Renown. And that's it. Very interesting, very tall build, quite literally, with the double giants here. A couple of skeleton horse archers, 4 of them it looks like for Captain Telis here. Cetra the Imperishable up front. Yeah, Skeleton Warriors, Kepler Guard. We've got some Skeleton Spears as well. Sepulchral Stalkers defending the back with some Jobti. Great bows. Pretty standard stuff for Tomb Kings. Let's see how the initial skirmish phase gets underway as we've got Horsemen facing off, Javelins and bows exchanging fire here as the Forsaken advance. Skeleton Horse Archers trying to get within range to shoot some important targets, but they've really got their work cut out for them here with their relatively low damage and volume of fire in comparison to an infantry archer. That would have been the counter here. I just think that just generally, like, mass skeleton archers would have probably hard countered this Warriors of Chaos build. Granted, maybe not with the Forsaken and the Pleasure Guard. They might have been able to cut through the front line relatively quickly and get back into some stationary archers and butter them up, but nonetheless, we've got Cetra here on the move, going to support the Kepler Guard in the center against the Forsaken. Some Javelins coming in here. That Warp Flame going to be making some pretty nice damage, given that Cetra's already weak to fire. Lessens his armor, makes him even weaker to fire, so nice pick there. But the Horse Masters, Horsemen of Tzeentch, getting countered by the Skeleton Horsemen. Undead Horse Archers doing a nice job of winning that fight. Yep, efficient focus fire. You can see next onto the other Marauder Horsemen of Tzeentch. All 3 have been broken in pretty quick succession. That being said, Forsaken and Pleasure Guard in the front line doing a nice job cutting through some skeletons. Kepler Guard managed to win out their engagement in the center, but the double giant right now, they've just been pushing through. Fortunately, they're able to get on the Shabti Great Bows. Fortunately for Captain Telis at least. Take down a few of their unit models. Do some HP damage to them, but the Sepulchral Stalkers will now move in for a screen. Chimera, a little breath attack there. I don't know if that was like fully canceled, maybe, because of the archers. Looks like the breath attack didn't fully go off, but nonetheless, going to land in this single entity mash up here. Sepulchral Stalkers, anti-large armor piercing, but they are just getting pounded by the Giants' high weapon strength right now, losing quite a few unit models immediately. And the, yeah, the Chimera also moving in, doing some nice damage. So, you know, ultimately, they don't have the most stats. Relatively low melee defense means they are going to get hit pretty hard here. That anti-large bonus does help them get some hits in as well. But, yeah, the Sepulchral Stalker is just struggling right now against so much quality cost. But the Chaos Sorcerer Lord of Nurgle, on the other hand, he's going to throw an Overcast, Fleshy Abundance, which does go off, although he terror routes in the process of it. It is going to hit all the important units in this build here, so should help sustain them somewhat. But the loss of leadership could be pretty decisive for the Warriors of Chaos. Captain Telis in a pretty nice position right now. The only thing is that the 2 giants still have a ton of HP, and of course just got capped out basically from that heal. So could be a little bit tricky. Marauder Horsemen also coming back from route to get in melee with the Skeleton Horse Archers, which they will definitely win that fight. But with support from Skeleton Spearmen, etc. also, they're able to push back that unit at least. Over here, Skeleton Horse Archers also winning out, so not completely terrible, but the Shabti Great Bows getting caught by the Pleasure Guard. Nice pick for Warriors of Chaos to have the speed and armor-piercing damage to be able to compete there. Some Shabti are summoned directly on top of them, which, yeah, since Pleasure Guard count as large, unfortunately that anti-infantry bonus will not apply, but it'll really at least be able to hold them down for some time. Nice breath attack there from the Chimera. Hits the Skeleton Spears, multiple units. Probably like 100 kills or so, maybe. Not quite, but still pretty good stuff. And yeah, right now, Tsar just keeping his Chaos Giant and Chimera all together. Definitely the right play. Try and move them around into big Doom blobs, since there's not a lot of ranged response now outside of the remaining skeleton horse archers, who are going to use the rest of their ammunition shooting at these monsters. Maybe if they could finish that Chimera, that would be nice, but the Giants have so much HP, and there's not really a lot in this build that can challenge them. Like, obviously the spears will just get whacked. They don't really have enough quality to be able to stand and fight, especially for a long time, against a unit with a lot of HP. Cetra himself is a pretty good combatant, but yeah, the fact that the Nurgle Sorcerer is also kind of hanging around there in the distance could be potentially tough for the Tomb Kings, but it is Conquest. It would have been nice maybe for them to seize the objective, the Tomb Kings at least, hold that, but looks like maybe the Skeleton Spears might try and do so now. We'll see. Trying to apply a little bit of time pressure to this Warriors of Chaos build here. Because, yeah, it's still quite formidable with the monsters and the Pleasure Guard still remaining, but does seem like it will take perhaps quite a while to grind through the rest of the Tomb King's army. So Captain Telis had secured the objective prior to now. He would have quite a bit of victory points at this point, but last was not meant to be. At least he can try and get some engagements without all the single entities together. Quick engagement here from Cetra on the Giant. Might take a few swings on the disengage, which is unfortunate, but yeah, it doesn't really do too much damage there. It does look like Pleasure Guard are maybe going to be chasing. Well, a few of their unit models are caught up elsewhere. Not really sure where, but yeah, they actually got through to the Skeleton Horsemen. Okay, gonna say it'll be great for the Skeleton Horsemen if they can get some hits there, but it looks like he actually pops the incantation of Cursed Blades. Give it an anti-large bonus, an extra weapon strength to these Skeleton Horse Archers, sends them into melee. Very interesting play. I kind of like it, though. With Cetra supporting here, they can potentially take out a few unit models and, yeah, get some response damage here rather than just letting Skeleton Horse Archers get completely carved up. So, nice little cheeky use of that spell. I am a big fan of overcasting for extra anti-large bonus, and actually kind of pushes the Pleasure Guard away, gives the Skeleton Horse Archers a chance to use their bows a little bit, get some free shots in, and yeah, Champion's looking pretty rough after that engagement. They have got some pretty good value already, but they're going to go chew on some infantry, where they are much more welcome. Meanwhile, over here, we've got some Skeleton Horse Archers on the move. Yeah, looks like seeing the skeletons attempting to secure the objective, both the Giants and the remaining Forsaken are going to make their way over here and absolutely pummel this poor isolated spear. We do see a heal as well, another fleshy abundance on those Pleasure Guards. Still 14 to 16 unit models left, so great efficiency on that healing. Should be 0 over healing based on the number of unit models alive still, but yeah, Skeleton Horse Archer's going to get caught up momentarily. The Skeleton Spears do move in for a screen. Also getting shot in the back by these other Skeleton Horse Archers, but, ooh, yeah, Incantation of Vengeance as well should do some decent damage and slow them down. Allows the Horse Archers to continue fighting. They're out of ammunition at this point, so might as well just use them as kind of a counter mobility piece at this point. But all the remaining single entities for Warriors of Chaos going to gather up on the objective, and this is going to be the part where it becomes tough for the Tomb Kings to crack this because of the lack of ammunition and firepower here. Yeah, I mean, both the Giants still being so healthy is a huge problem. It's put a lot of resources into killing the Pleasure Guard as well, and they are also still alive. You know, Sorcerer Lord himself is heal capped after having taken a bunch of damage. He's had that Crown of Everlasting Conquest item to give him some great benefit there. But yeah, Spears starting to move in. Kepler Guard also as a backup can kind of be the final wave here, generating some HP during this time. Nope, looks like all their unit models are capped out actually right now, not actually regenerating anything. But a couple of volleys left for the Skeleton Horse Archers. Looks like he's going to choose to put them into the Pleasure Guard just to try and get that elite off the field. Makes sense to a degree, but again, you're not expending any ammunition really on these Giants, who all have still like close to 10,000 HP each. So it's a lot of HP to try and get through with just a bunch of spears and Cetra and the Kepler Guard. But another Incantation of Vengeance here on the Pleasure Guard, trying to just finish them off. They're down It's only 11 unit models. Might be dropping a few more here. We do see another Fleshy Abundance Overcast, though. Just absolutely efficient healing here. Yeah, the percentage-based healing on these Chaos Giants is devastating for sure, and I think all the work that the Tomb Kings have done is being undone at this point. But Skeleton Spears will continue contributing, at least for a little bit more time here. And the Kepler Guard, Skeleton Horseman, Incantation of Cursed Blades there for the anti-large bonus as they try and finish off the Pleasure Guard. Actually a very good engagement for them. The Kepler Guard also, and it does look like the Pleasure squad here will be taken out. Both the Giants move off of the point momentarily to come try and 2v1 versus Cetra. He has the mobility to get out of this engagement if he needs to. Gonna take some hits maybe on the process. Looks like some of the Giants turned around and started fighting the Kepler Guard and the Skeletons, which is definitely beneficial for Cetra as he tries to avoid taking too much damage here. But right now, well, yeah, I was just going to say he has a nice opportunity to maybe go after that Chaos Sorcerer Lord while he's a little bit isolated. As soon as I go to say that, of course, Tsar is going to move both of his Chaos Giants over, try and unify all his single entities so he doesn't get caught out by Cetra and isolated. Very smart play here. But he's going to go for Incantation of Cursed Blades. Maybe. Nope. Oop. Gets a little bit body blocked by the Giants. Takes a big old chunk of damage. Couple of hits right there. That massive 700 weapon strength for the Giants. Just going to be so efficient for their costs. As long as they can get into combat without taking a million arrows, which certainly they were able to in this game. And balance power now starting kind of for the first time to tip over into Warriors of Chaos favor, as the Tomb Kings are just kind of running out of answers at this point. There's no ranged. There's really not a lot of quality left here either. It's just the Kepler Guard, etc. Really, everything else is mostly just fodder. So let's fast forward a little bit as the Giants make their stand. Etc. Gonna choose wisely when he can cycle charge. Just come in, get a quick hit, and try and get out. But unfortunately, this takes a while to turn around and disengage. It's going to be eating some attacks in the meantime. The one Giant getting close to heal capped. I mean, just I expect we'll see some inflated damage values on the Tomb King side just because they've had to kill all these high-value units basically multiple times. They have been healed so much, but the Kepler Guard are holding out pretty well. This Giant's actually starting to lose a little bit against the Kepler Guard, so Cetra, maybe another quick cheeky cycle charge, or if he's baiting, yeah, like this, where he's baiting the Giants to just kind of walk around and not do any attacks. They're not really getting stopped up by the Kepler Guard, but yeah, objective is in Tomb King's favor, but I don't think, yeah, the amount of time that it would take to get that win. The Kepler Guard are also approaching their healing cap as well, so things are looking pretty interesting in this late game. Definitely anyone's game, but I am thinking that Warriors of Chaos maybe have a slight advantage here just because the single entities are going to be pretty tough to kill, but let's see. Kepler Guard going to continue to pressure. This one Giant down below half HP. The Sorcerer Lord also below half HP here. Giants, of course, have excellent leadership, so there's not really a lot of threat of them, like, routing here. But another Incantation of Cursed Blades. No anti-large bonus on this version, just you know, extra weapon strength, but anytime Cetra comes in, he just is taking multiple attacks from multiple single entities, and it's really uncomfortable. The Sorcerer Lord is not, no, he is on the Nurgle Beast, so the Rot Wolf, whatever it's called, I forget, but it gives him some armor-piercing damage as well, means he can contribute in that 3v1 single entity fight pretty meaningfully. And, yeah, basically it's just try to buy time for the Kepler Guard, maybe wear this down a little bit. But Cetra wants none of that smoke. He's going to wisely try and stay away. We'll continue to fast forward as the Kepler Guard circle beat the Giants. Giants going to make sure to maintain the objective. Cetra, again, quick cycle charge, but it's not going to be enough as he gets pounded by Giants. Goes down, Kepler Guard hit army losses, and that will be the game. And the series. Very, very hard-fought series. Excellent play to both players. Very good games for sure. Czar here, wild build. Absolutely wild build. Anytime you see double Giant in competitive play, it's a fun day for sure, and I appreciate it. And ultimately, kind of interesting against the Tomb Kings because, you know, again, thinking about, like, the main downside of giants here would be getting shot by skeleton archers. He has quite a bit of mobility, and the flying mobility of the Chimera to kind of threaten the back line. I don't know, it might be hard to operate a bunch of stationary archers against a build like this, although it is relatively small. Perhaps a little countercharge in the front, breaking the Forsaken, and then suddenly you just have a very thin build without any infantry. So it's curious. I'd be curious to see how this would work against another Tomb King's build. But Captain Telis here bringing what I would consider to be a pretty respectable, pretty normal Tomb King's build, maybe lacking a little bit in the single entity stockpiling power, but I do like the Skeleton Horse Archers here as a counter to the Javelin Horsemen. They did their job pretty well at doing so. All the Javelin Horsemen were fairly well limited. Only one even approaches paying for themselves, whereas all the Skeleton Horse Archers, like, double their value, perhaps. Pretty close to. Sporkle Stalkers were surprisingly bad in this engagement. I guess they just got quality checked super hard against those giants, and everything else really just could not stand in this fight. And I think that was maybe one area where this build, like, I'm trying to think, though, what would you put in this place to make this defensive? The Shabti Great Bills also, they were able to get some respectable value. It wasn't a complete waste, but can be tricky to operate against a very mobile faction like Chaos. Well, Warriors of Chaos, they can go very mobile and threaten and pressure you with a lot of nice mobility units. Maybe not quite as strong mobility as, say, Norska, but still is threatening for sure. It needs to be respected. But yeah, I mean, the rest of the build makes a lot of sense. There's not really too much to criticize here. Cetra did a really nice job. Spearmen, like I said, we'll see some inflated values across the board, but 500 on some skeleton spearmen is definitely not bad at all. So, interesting one for sure. Maybe, I mean, hindsight 2020, maybe you just change out, hard to say, something here, but I'm not an expert in Tomb Kings. You guys let me know down in the comments below. Maybe change out these Sepulchral Stalkers for something else to help defend, although at their price point, like, what exactly would that look like? You probably want something with high mass, but I don't think, like, Propolis Knights would fare any better, and you'd have to pay more for them, so interesting thought for sure, but I'll leave you with that. Thank you all so much for watching. We're going to keep it coming with more Warhammer World Championship Tournament games, so be sure to stay tuned for that. Thanks again, and we'll see you next time.